Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for this informational session. My name is Johnny Flores, and I'm the Senior Planner in the area of Registered Teacher Apprenticeships at the Gulf Coast Workforce Board. I will be joined today by two colleagues who you will hear from in just a moment. Danielle Knotts is the manager of the Career Pathways team, which is the team that I sit on, and you will hear from Roderick Peoples, who is also on that Career Pathways team, and he is in the area of the Career Pathway Services Coordinator. This session today will be recorded and published on our WRK Solutions website, just in case you miss any information. And because we only have 60 minutes, we want to be sure we give you as much as we can. This means that we won't have time to dive into a Q&A session towards the end, but we will publish all of those questions and answers after today's session so that you will have all the information you need. And to capture your questions, we will place a QR code at the bottom of each slide today. This is going to lead you to a Microsoft Forms document where you can submit your question. And you are welcome to submit multiple Microsoft Forms responses throughout our time today by clicking on that Submit Another Response button after you've submitted that first question. We will read and respond to each and every one. And if there is someone that you know that should receive this information as well, please feel free to let us know through that QR code. The Gulf Coast Workforce Board and Houston Endowment are excited to collaboratively launch the Teacher Apprenticeship Incentive Program, abbreviated by TAIP or TAIP, throughout today. We are excited to announce this program because it supports school districts and apprentices in the quest to get high-quality educators in front of students. We know that it takes financial resources to launch and sustain these programs, which can be daunting. But with the Teacher Apprenticeship Incentive Program, we aim to face that challenge head on by providing not only financial incentives to school districts, but also ensuring apprentices receive high quality wraparound support. Now, before we dive into the details of TAPE, we'd first like to share a bit more about the Gulf Coast Workforce Board and why this initiative is important to our work. With that, I will introduce Danielle Knotts.
Gulf Coast Workforce Board serves as one of the largest, most dynamic workforce regions in the country. And at the end of the day, our mission is really about connection, connecting people to opportunity, and employers to the talent they need to grow. While that sounds very simple, the way we do this is very intentional. Everything we invest in is guided by data, shaped by what employers are telling us, and focused on the long-term economic health of our region. We're always thinking about not just today's jobs, but what the workforce will need in 5 or 10 years from now. At the center of our work is a strong commitment to education and training. We want to make sure people can access the skills they need to build meaningful, sustainable careers, no matter where they're starting from. That might look like supporting someone who's entered the workforce for the first time, or helping an adult learner gain new skills to move into a better paying job. We support this in a few key ways: through funding, through partnerships, and through thoughtful program design. The goal is to create pathways so individuals can move forward and experience real economic mobility. We're not just doing this alone. We work closely with K through 12 schools, adult education providers, community colleges, universities, and of course, employers. Together, we're building a more seamless pipeline from education into the workforce. That includes supporting adult education and literacy programs, career training opportunities, upskilling and reskilling efforts, and hands-on experiences like apprenticeships and internships, because we know that people learn best when they can apply their skills in real-world settings. To maximize impact, we have intentionally focused our efforts on 4 key occupational sectors: education, technology, construction, and healthcare and life sciences. These focus areas were not chosen at random. They are grounded in our regional labor market data, employer demand, and projected growth. First, these sectors consistently represent some of the highest demand, fastest growing industries in our region. They also provide strong wages, career advancement opportunities, and long-term stability for workers. Second, each of these sectors is critical to the infrastructure and future of our regional economy. For example, technology drives innovation across every industry. Construction supports population growth, housing, and infrastructure demand. Healthcare and life sciences are essential to community well-being and are rapidly expanding due to demographic trends. And importantly, education serves as that foundation that sustains all other sectors. By concentrating on our investments and partnerships within these four areas, we're able to create a deeper impact. Instead of spreading our resources too thin, we align training programs, funding, and employer engagement to ensure that we are producing talent at scale in areas that matter most. This strategic focus enables us to accelerate regional growth, strengthen our talent pipeline, and support businesses in remaining competitive, while also creating economic mobility for residents. Among these sectors, education stands out as a critical priority, not just for workforce development, but for the long-term success of our entire region. Our emphasis on education is intentional and strategic. We recognize that every teacher we support ultimately impacts hundreds, if not thousands, of students over the course of their career. By strengthening the educator workforce, we are investing in future workforces at its earliest stages. Across our region and state, we are seeing a need for highly qualified teachers and educators, particularly in high demand subject areas and underserved communities. Addressing this need requires innovative solutions, strong partnerships, and deliberate investment. And that is where the Gulf Coast Workforce Board plays a vital key role. Our work in education aligns closely with the governor's direction to improve education outcomes by ensuring classrooms are led with a highly qualified, well-prepared educators. Through our support of education-focused training pathways, alternative certification programs, and partnerships with higher education institutions, we are helping individuals enter and succeed in the teaching profession. We're not only helping to fill vacancies, we're helping build a stronger, more resilient education system that supports student success and workforce readiness from the ground up. Additionally, by aligning education initiatives with workforce strategies, we create a feedback loop. Stronger education systems produce a more skilled workforce, and a stronger workforce drives economic growth, which in turn supports further investment in education. Our work is about alignment, aligning education with industry needs, aligning training with opportunity, and aligning people with careers that changes lives. The Gulf Coast Workforce Board is proud to serve as a connector, a convener, and a catalyst. By focusing on high impact sectors, investing in education and in training, and working in partnership with our community, we are helping build a workforce system that is responsive, resilient, and ready for the future.
The Teacher Apprenticeship Incentive Program, TAIP, it utilizes a three-pronged strategy that aims to meet the education workforce needs through apprenticeship programming. TAIP will incentivize school districts to enroll registered teacher apprentices, encourage current apprentices to finish their program, and to support school districts with launching new registered teacher apprenticeships. The major outcomes of TAIP are to distribute financial incentives to school districts who employ teachers in their registered teacher apprenticeship program. I'll call that RTAP. Provide apprentice-level wraparound supports to increase program completion, and then launch the Gulf Coast Regional Teacher Apprenticeship Hubs, or also known as RTAP hubs. TAPE is purposely structured to provide school districts with financial incentives in the amount of $2,000 for every apprentice employed and participating in an RTAP. There is no cap for the number of apprentices a school district can receive funding for. And this incentive program is really designed this way to encourage apprentice enrollment and support districts by reducing the financial burden of launching and sustaining their RTAP. In addition to district level financial incentives, all registered apprentices must agree to open a workintexas.com account, complete an initial intake assessment through Workforce Solutions to determine eligibility for individual tuition scholarships or supportive services, and participate in a monthly wraparound support check-in with staff members from the Gulf Coast Workforce Board. This additional layer of support is intentionally designed to identify and to address any academic, personal, or systemic barriers that may impede an apprentice's progress. These monthly check-ins also provide an important opportunity to gather qualitative insights on apprentice experiences to help us refine program supports, help strengthen district and educator preparation program alignment, and ensure that the interventions we're providing are responsive to the real participant needs that exist. Wraparound support will continue for all apprentices throughout the duration of the Houston Endowment Grant. And finally, TAPE will launch a first of its kind regional registered teacher apprenticeship hub structure. This hub will expand the number of RTAPs across the region by convening education stakeholders, collecting and reporting data through the customer relationship management system, and publishing resources that support current and future RTAPs. A second RTAP hub will be established in year 2. We believe that the TAPE is unique because it recognizes the financial need that districts have to prop up their apprenticeship. And we've been intentional about weaving in components that will ensure your apprenticeship programming is high quality while also addressing the apprentice needs as they come up. And we wanted to clarify that funding that we're speaking about today is not related to HB2 funding or any other previous grants. This opportunity is designed to be accessible, and it's not based on a financial need nor a household income requirement to qualify. The $2,000 stipend is provided to school districts for every individual apprentice employed and working towards their teacher certification. We do have some requirements for this funding, and those requirements are all in service of ensuring we support school districts and getting apprentices through their program so that we can ultimately get high quality teachers in front of their students. We will dive into those requirements in just a few minutes so that we'll know what's expected of both school districts and of apprentices. Next, we're going to talk through each component of the TAPE so that you're going to have an understanding of our approach. And then as we get closer toward the end of our time together, we'll provide you with the QR code today so that you can directly apply for the incentive. As far as financial incentives, as we stated earlier, each district will be able to apply for this $2,000 per apprentice incentive. Eligibility for this program is easy. Public, private, and charter school districts who belong to a Department of Labor registered teacher apprenticeship program and have active apprentices are eligible. Districts do not need to be the sponsor of the apprenticeship, just part of the apprenticeship and the employer of the apprentice. The other piece of this is that school districts must employ these apprentices, and those apprentices must be enrolled in an educator preparation program and actively progressing towards teacher certification. Once a school district applies for this opportunity, a member of the Gulf Coast Workforce Board team will reach out and ask for an estimate of the total number of apprentices your district is expecting. Additionally, we will connect school districts with our vendor who processes payments in the next coming months so they can collect school district bank information and other documents required for payment should the school district be awarded this incentive. We understand that the number of apprentices can change as we get closer to the beginning of the school year, so we will again reach back out in early August for a final roster of apprentices being employed at your school district. And once all of that information has been verified, payment processing typically takes about 8 weeks. I'm going to pass it over to Roderick, who will now speak about the wraparound supports that apprentices must participate in.
The TAIP counselor framework is a structured apprentice-centered support system designed to guide participants through every phase of the apprenticeship experience, from program entry to classroom readiness, certification, and workforce placement. The framework recognizes that becoming an effective educator requires more than completing coursework or logging classroom hours. It requires consistent guidance, reflective practice, and coordinated support that addresses academic, professional, and personal dimensions of development. Through regular one-on-one counseling, the program ensures apprentices are not navigating the pathway alone, but are supported by a dedicated professional who understands both education systems and workforce expectations. The framework is intentionally designed to promote persistence and reduce attrition by identifying challenges early and responding with timely, individualized interventions. The counselor will serve as a steady point of contact, helping apprentices interpret program requirements, align classroom experiences with training expectations, and build confidence as emerging educators. This approach strengthens the regional educator pipeline by supporting participants through critical transition points that often lead to dropout or disengagement in traditional preparation models. By embedding counseling as a core program component rather than a supplemental service, the program elevates the apprentice experience and reinforces accountability across partners, including districts, mentors, and training providers. Ultimately, the framework ensures apprentices progress in a structured, supported, and intentional manner, increasing the likelihood that they complete the program credentialed, prepared, and ready to make an immediate impact in the classroom. The purpose of the TAIP Counseling Guide is to deliver structured, individualized support that ensures apprenticeship persistence, successful program completion, and full classroom readiness. Grounded in a high-touch counseling model, the TAPE counseling addresses the complex academic, professional, and personal factors that influence success in an apprenticeship-based educator's pathway. Apprentices often balance employment, coursework, family responsibilities, and certification demands simultaneously, making consistent guidance essential. The counselor will meet with apprentices monthly using a standardized toolkit that promotes consistency while allowing flexibility to respond to individual needs. Each counseling interaction is intentional and data informed, combining progress monitoring, reflective discussion, and personalized goal setting. The counselor will support apprentices in tracking coursework and certification milestones, also strengthening mentor relationships and navigating district expectations as well. The guide also emphasizes proactive problem solving barriers, ensuring barriers such as time management challenges, academic readiness, gaps, external stressors are addressed before they threaten program continuation. Alignment with district workforce priorities ensures apprentices are developing the instructional competence, professionalism, and confidence required of effective educators. Through targeted resource connections and customized success planning, the counseling creates a clear and supported pathway program entry through transition and into full-time teaching roles. Ultimately, the purpose of the counseling program is not only to help apprentices complete the program, but to ensure they enter the workforce prepared, credentialed, resilient, and capable of sustaining long-term careers in education. Standardized counseling tools are a critical component of this counseling framework, ensuring consistency, equity, and quality across all apprenticeship experiences. Tools such as the initial counseling intake form, the monthly counseling session template, and the apprenticeship assurance survey and regional resource guide provide a shared structure for engagement, documentation, and decision making. The intake form established a comprehensive understanding of each apprenticeship's background, goals, and political barriers, allowing counselors to tailor support from the onset. Monthly session templates guide reflective conversations, progress monitoring, and action planning while ensuring key areas such as mentor engagement, coursework status, and classroom responsibilities are consistently addressed. Surveys elevate apprentice voice and provide valuable feedback for continuance program improvement. Together, these tools support data-informed counseling practices and strengthen program accountability for funders, partners, and oversight entities. By using standardized documentations, counselors can track trends, identify systematic challenges, and contribute to ongoing evaluation efforts that enhance program effectiveness. Most importantly, these tools ensure apprenticeship receive high quality, intentional support regardless of their placement or counseling assignment. This reinforces our program commitment to equitable access and successful outcomes. And now I'm going to explain a little bit about our CRM system. One of the benefits of working with the Gulf Coast Workforce Board is that we'll provide access to a newly procured CRM system that is free of charge for all of our partners and is designed with your needs in mind. We are custom building this program to fit the needs of all of our stakeholders involved in the Registered Teacher Apprenticeship Program. Our CRM system is a shared platform designed to make registered teacher apprenticeships easier to manage and easier to coordinate across partner platforms. The platform allows stakeholders involved in an apprenticeship program to communicate, record notes and documentation, and stay aligned in one place. That includes school districts, colleges, mentors, apprentices, and wraparound support staff and workforce one-stop staff. Instead of information being spread across email, spreadsheets, or separate systems, our CRM system will provide a central space where apprentice progress can be documented, monitored, and shared appropriately among our partners. The platform also allows us to aggregate data into our shared, providing transparent visibility into a regional progress and helping us collectively measure success. All participants will have access to a shared dashboard that provides visibility into key milestones, progress indicators, and program activities, helping everyone stay informed and aligned while reducing administrative burdens. When it comes to rapids reporting or Advera reporting for our training providers, our CRM platform compiles information into user-friendly formats, helping us to make submissions more efficient and easier to manage. The goal with our shared CRM system is to support transparency, coordination, and consistency across apprenticeship programs so that our districts can focus less on tracking paperwork and more on supporting apprentices and strengthening their educator pipeline.
All right. For eligibility, it's really simple. Applicants must be a school district that is a participant of a registered teacher apprenticeship program. Again, you do not need to be the sponsor as a school district. You just need to be the employer. Also, it's a requirement that apprentices are employed by that school district and enrolled in an EPP or college in pursuit of a teaching certification. And that's it. Uh, we're going to transition to some talk about the requirements. And so a way I'll talk about this first is talk through district requirements, and then we will talk about a set of apprentice requirements to participate in this program. First, we're going to require that school districts utilize incentive stipends to support their individual apprentices or their teacher apprenticeship programming. So, for example, some districts may want to utilize that incentive to supplement wages of their apprentices, while other districts may use it to provide substitutes for teacher apprentices while they attend required monthly meetings. As long as the funding is used on the apprentice or for the RTAP, it is considered appropriate use. We also expect districts to complete a data sharing agreement prior to fund disbursement so that we're able to capture apprentice progress and utilize data collected to make improvements to the program. In that same vein, we're going to ask districts to submit a mid-year apprentice satisfaction survey and an end-of-year satisfaction survey. And we really want to use that information for reporting purposes and to have ongoing continuous improvement of the program. Finally, we ask that districts receiving financial support to the Workforce Board, know that they are required to publish their job openings on workintexas.com. By doing that, that helps ensure transparency and consistent communication of opportunities and of job expectations for apprentices. Transitioning over to the apprentice requirements, these are all tied to increased completion of their programs and in support of the overall apprentice experience. And if future funding is available into a year 2 of this program, we want to ensure that apprentices continue to qualify by making progress on their journey towards becoming fully certified. So we will require apprentices to create a workintexas.com account and complete an intake assessment early in the school year. Both of these actions are the first steps in potentially unlocking additional funding, and we won't know if there's another stream of funding available without first assessing those apprentices. If you're a school district that works with an intermediary that arranges that for you, or if you've already had apprentices that were screened through and created that workintexas.com account, we will just ask for that Work in Texas account number for those apprentices. Second, participation in monthly check-ins is a required component of this program. We will collect that data sharing agreement from apprentices during that first check-in with them. And then we will have ongoing 30-minute virtual sessions designed to ensure that each apprentice remains supported, engaged, and on track toward completion of their program. In addition, apprentices are required to just provide regular updates on their performance in both the workplace and in their training program. And this information will be documented into our CRM system that Roderick spoke about earlier. This ongoing communication really allows us to monitor their advancement and provide timely support, and finally to reinforce that accountability to ensure that we have successful program outcomes. Applying is also easy. So here are the steps. First, we're going to ask that school districts complete the application form on the right-hand side of your screen with that QR code. School districts complete that Microsoft Forms application, and you only need one application on behalf of all of the apprentices that will be accounted for. You will then submit your first apprentice roster to GCWB Career Pathways at wrksolutions.net. That roster should include, at minimum, the apprentice name, their teaching assignment, campus assignment, and the number of college hours completed or on-ramp or the apprentice level that apprentice is at. I spoke earlier about if your apprentice has already been screened and has a Work in Texas account number, you can go ahead and drop that into this information as well. Next, you're going to wait for Workforce Board staff to review. And while that's happening, we're going to provide some contact information of yours to our vendor that is responsible for processing payments. That vendor will be in touch with you so that they can go ahead and begin collecting documents and any other information needed for payment should the school district receive that incentive award. Finally, you'll receive notification of funding and any other follow-up support if needed from the school district. You will receive that from the Gulf Coast Workforce Board. And throughout all of these steps, by the way, you will always have access to us through that Gulf Coast Workforce Board career pathways at wrksolutions.net. If you have any questions or have any follow-up needed, you can contact us directly through there. Finally, we will reach back out and get a final roster from school districts of apprentices for the upcoming school year. Once we receive that final apprentice roster for that upcoming school year and that those have been verified, we are expecting payments to be made to school districts within about 8 weeks. Of course, like I said, we will be in constant communication with districts prior to this so that you will know each step of the way what is happening. So just a little bit of information. When you click on that QR code to the upper right-hand side, it's going to ask you for the school district name, the person that's applying for their name and contact information. There will be a question about the school district being approved for a registered teacher apprenticeship program, along with just a current projected number of apprentices for the upcoming school year. We will ask a question for just a very brief description of how the district currently monitors or even plans to monitor apprentice progress toward completion. And then finally, we'll ask for the names, email addresses, and contact information of anyone else that should be included on award notifications. And just a really quick timeline of what you can expect. Our launch was official on May 12th, and the applications were open on that day. The application to participate in this program will remain open for any school district that is currently in the process of being approved by the Department of Labor for their specific RTAP, and we will be processing applications on a rolling basis. We will begin notifying school districts that have applied we will get notifications by June 15th, and we just ask that we get some initial commitments by June 30th. For any school district that is on this info session that does not yet have a registered teacher apprenticeship program, the Gulf Coast Workforce Board does offer comprehensive technical assistance that can support you at each step. Our role ultimately is not just to fund or convene, but our role is to walk alongside school districts as you design, register, and implement an apprenticeship model that fits your own local context and staffing needs. Currently, our technical assistance includes support with understanding the registered apprenticeship framework and the requirements of that, identifying and clarifying district roles, including all of the sponsorship options available, coordinating with higher education partners for coursework and credit alignment, supporting the development of on-the-job learning structures, mentorship models, and progression plans, navigating the registration process with the appropriate apprenticeship entities, and then finally aligning apprenticeship design with workforce funding, incentives, and any sustainability strategies. We can also help districts think through implementation readiness, including capacity, timelines, and staffing, so that when these programs are designed, they're designed to be scalable and sustainable right from the start. And for districts that move forward with the Gulf Coast Workforce Board, we will continue providing ongoing support, including access to shared tools, coordination with other partners, and connections with best practices from not just across our region, but from across our state and nation. Our goal is really to lower the barriers to entry, reduce the administrative burden, and help school districts launch high-quality registered teacher apprenticeship programs that will strengthen the educator pipeline and support long-term workforce needs. For those of you that already have your RTAP and you're ready to apply for the TAIP, let's get you the info that you need. Next steps are easy. After this launch on May 12th, districts will need to apply with the QR code included in this session. And if your district has additional questions, you can drop those in to the GCWB Career Pathways at wrksolutions.net email address or the QR code provided in this session. You can also expect to hear a confirmation from us that we've received your application. These slides will be published, the recording will be published, and any questions that were received throughout this webinar info session will be created on an FAQ sheet, and that will be published as well. Again, if questions come up later, any school district is welcome to leverage our email address, and we will respond to you as soon as we can. With that, we want to just close out We very much look forward to hearing from you, and we want to communicate that TAPE is about removing barriers so that districts and apprentices can focus on what matters most for student achievement, high quality educators. And we are so excited to forge the path ahead alongside of each of you, and we look forward to working with you and hearing from you soon. Thank you so much.